Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Live. Favorite is podcast. Favorite is channel. Favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at DMarkJohnNFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course PandaSups.com. Use TDL for 35% off. All right, everybody. So we are going over TDL. Friday Night Live, Raiders odds and bets. We are back. You guys already know what to do. We're gonna, go over all these players, and same thing we do every single week. Me and Glenn, and talking football. No college football this week, of course.
No, I know it sucks. Army Navy though, isn't there the Army Navy game?
Yeah,
the
so
over,
I was thinking
the over is 27.5. The over under.
Really? I mean, that triple option game, man.
You gotta do it. You gotta take it. You can't. That's just you gotta. You get one touchdown by the half, and you're like, I'm in it.
Yeah, exactly. I took that over last night with the Steelers and Patriots because that was when everybody thought that was going to be
hit by the half. That hit by the half, didn't it?
Yeah, real quick.
Nice.
Yeah. But of course, I didn't get my. I got greedy and went for a defense touchdown. It was a free bet, anyways. But
yeah, I had Pat's money line. I got scary at the end, but hey, yeah, I mean, it just felt like they were the better team, like as constructed.
Yes, I mean, I agree with that too. I mean, you just can't trust Mitch Trubisky in that.
That's the factor. Yeah, that's why I did it. I was just like, well, Pat's been playing defense. Mitch Trubisky is one of the worst quarterbacks probably of the last decade, if not the worst. And yeah, like you bet against those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember this. I was not covering the 0.5 of the first half. Did they score that game? They didn't score a point, did they?
The Michigan game?
Yeah.
Oh, they might not have. I don't know. I didn't watch a lick of it. That felt like that felt bad.
Yeah, it was. I didn't watch that game either. I didn't watch it. I watched Florida State versus Louisville. I watched that one, and that was terrible too.
Yeah,
and then they kept him out. Anyways because of that. So we can watch Alabama play Michigan.
It's like we are getting the two best games, but it does feel like we got there. There was like an executive decision. There was a red button pressed that made that happen. Like I kind of lightweight still think Georgia should have made the playoffs. I think it should have been Alabama and Georgia. I don't think Texas is a playoff team. I think beating Alabama in September doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, Alabama couldn't play. They scored like 6 points on South Florida the next week, so they were all over the place on offense.
They were bad, and then you have Texas goes on and loses to Oklahoma, which at the time you're like, yeah, rivalry game. Then Oklahoma craps themselves down the stretch. So I'm like, Texas's best win happened in September, and we put them in the playoffs. Like I'm just saying, like Georgia loses to Bama. I don't consider that to be like the most egregious thing in the world in a championship game. I felt like that. Nobody wanted that, but I felt like those would have been the four best teams.
Yeah, oh man, it's gonna be interesting when it gets to 12 next year because I'm
excited. Right now. No undefeated teams will get left out, so you just won't have. So all the fan bases who now because I've heard the thing with Florida State now, not to go too far on college, but like the Florida State fans have the best possible scenario right now because when your quarterback gets hurt, I actually think they were a title contender team with Jordan Travis, but they're in the spot where they can be like, well, had we got in, they kept us out, we were hosts, but they also saved themselves an embarrassing game because I'm a Notre Dame fan. When they played Alabama, that was embarrassing. I counted the season done when they made the title game. I was like, oh, cool, that's it because I knew the game was going to be bad. So Florida State saved themselves from the beatdown, and they always have the "we were snubbed" thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to Raiders football. Talk some college football, but Raiders football, we're back. We had a bye week. They teased us against the Chiefs. They had the 14-0 lead. Had us excited. I even text my friend where he was at because he was real quiet in the group chat. He's a Chiefs fan. He was real quiet. And then of course he started talking when it was 21-14. He was texting again. So But there are some good elements in that game. I thought Aiden O'Connell played pretty well. The offense started off well, but then they got really run heavy. Michael Mayer, he's out there playing pretty well. Devontae was getting some, Jacoby Myers was getting some. Everybody was playing pretty good on offense. I just felt like they just got too run heavy and they just wanted to pound the rock. And I was like, man, they ain't gonna win. They ain't gonna beat no damn. It ain't beating Patrick Mahomes. It might beat Josh Dobbs, but it ain't beating Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I could have live bet that game 7 times in one. I knew the Raiders would get a lead at the beginning because they always do. I feel like they always do against the Chiefs. They always come out and we're like, whoa, damn, like Chiefs getting punched in the mouth. They can, it's Jacobs 7 yards of carry at the beginning. They get a big touchdown. They stop, Mahomes is like throwing the ball into the ground on 3rd and 19 and like, oh man, like the offense looks terrible against the Raiders. Man, look at that Raiders defense. And then the Chiefs will score 1 touchdown that turns into 4 touchdowns, like with it before you blink, and that you could live bet that game. You could have live bet the Raiders, first half cover or even like first to score, because I knew that would be the case, and then you could have just like Chiefs money line live bet later, which I'm not a big fan of live betting, but for the Raiders, I could have. That was a classic Raiders Chiefs game, sadly, during the Reed Mahomes era.
Yeah, and it ties into this game because what makes me nervous about that game was the secondary. They looked like complete shit. So, since they look like shit, now we got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson's back.
Yeah.
And TJ Hawkinson and KJ Osborne's not bad. It's going to be a little tough for them this game. They got to hope Josh Dobbs and his duck throws. They got to pick some of these ducks off like the Bears are doing. They were taking advantage of the ducks that were getting tossed in the air, and the Raiders will do the same thing. But it's going to be tough, with Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison is pretty damn good too, man. I was watching him.
Oh yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty fucking good too.
They're a good team. They're I think they're a well-coached team. I think I like Kevin O'Connell. And I think I'm with you. I'm a little concerned about the defense. I'm hoping that got ironed out. Some of that got ironed out during the bye week. I think that they're facing, Dobbs is. We got to hope that right now that the theory with Josh Dobbs is that you get 3 good games the minute you acquire him, and maybe those 3 games have expired because sure looked that way a while back the last time they played, and against the Bears it didn't look good at all. And you just got to hope that like we're just getting kind of bad Josh Dobbs now. Like Josh Dobbs has gone past his employee probationary period with the company and not playing anymore. We have to hope for that, because otherwise, if he's just the Chiefs showed that you could just dink and dunk the Raiders all day, and I've always thought that teams try to hit home runs against them all the time, but they're pretty home run proof over their heads. Like I'm not trying to jinx them or anything, but I just mean like you don't see the ball thrown over their heads all that much.
Exactly.
In front of them, I just don't think they can tackle. I mean, I'm glad that Marcus Peters isn't there. But at the end of the day, like that's not the only issue with that secondary.
Yeah, I wonder if Facyon's going to play. I know he's designated to return, but I don't know. He might play this week. I think he'll make a little bit of difference in the secondary, especially this week, man. They need all the help they can get, even with Josh Dobbs playing. Because I was watching him a little bit, and like I said, there's a lot of ducks there. He does make pretty good decisions. Yeah. You can just tell he's just a limited quarterback, and you can get some pressure on them interior wise with some stunts and stuff. But Darisaw, you ain't going nowhere really. He's pretty damn good, which he should have been a Raider, but it's a different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Alex Leatherwood was such a gamer, though. He was just he just popped off the screen with holding calls and not being that good. So you just had to take him. You don't understand.
He's Alabama.
Yeah, you fans, who knew? You guys are just fans. You don't know. You don't know that Darisaw is going to be good. I have like 15 tweets saying, "Please just take Christian Darisaw."
I never forget when Gru like went off of the media one time about something. He's like he blocked for 3 national championship teams. He must be pretty damn good. Oh, sure, John.
I have a video, like my most popular video of my old YouTube was me just like being mad live while the Leatherwood pick was happening. Like it's just now you got to watch this guy be as good as we thought for the Vikings.
Tevin Jenkins is better than him too. Like Tevin Jenkins is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's swing and a miss once again. That's why we have
Swing and a miss.
That's why we have 5 good players on the Raiders right now.
Swing and a miss, big time.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah. So the Vikings. I mean, the game is going to be at home. They do play a little bit better at home. This was the first time they gave up more than 20 points at home. But this offense is pretty good. But I still think if they can stop the run, I think they have a pretty good chance of just make Josh Dobbs beat us. I'd rather have Josh Dobbs throw for 350 and lose than let Alex Madison go for 150 and Josh Dobbs run for 70. And they got to contain him, and hopefully they got a game plan for running quarterbacks because they suck against these type of guys, man. They really do. They suck.
Man. By the way, I saw in the chat, big STD saying Darisaw opted out that 1 year. That's why. I think that is what. Remember we were saying that like when Darisaw opted out the COVID year and Gruden wasn't taking any of those guys. Oh my God.
Do you love football?
I forgot about that. That was why. Gosh. Whatever. Yeah. Champ Kelly, save us.
He doesn't love football. He doesn't love football. That's really what it is, man. He doesn't love football. All right, so let's get into some of these lines, man. Of course, we'll start with the quarterback, who's the talk of the timeline right now because he can't run. Everybody's upset about it. He can't move. So, but they think he's going to play well. I thought this was kind of interesting, especially the 20 pass completions of 20 and at 0.5, and then we have pass attempts 30.5. So they expect him to complete a lot of passes against a pretty tough blitz package he's going to be facing. And you got pass yards 218.5, passing touchdowns 1.5. Of course, passing interceptions is the same thing. But you remember last time against the Chiefs, it was 0.05 for passing touchdowns, right? And like 200 yards or something like that. And he surpassed all those, and he had a pretty damn good game. So obviously, Vegas is starting to turn on Aiden O'Connell. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, just quickly on O'Connell, I understand people not thinking that we need a mobile quarterback, or at least a quarterback that is more mobile than Aiden O'Connell. I think that's true. It's definitely seems to be a way to steal yards in the league and make third and short a lot easier, and even second and short a lot easier. But he has played well. I'm not sure what the ceiling is. I'm not sure it's worth banking on, but I've been okay with it. I've been okay. I've been okay with it for now, and I want to see him grow and see how good he actually can be. But yeah, you're right. They think that 30 and a half passing attempts, that makes me think that they think the Raiders are going to lose. But passing TDs 1.5. I like the passing TDs a lot. I like that more so than anything. I like going over on yards as well, but I like the way Brian Flores calls probably the best blitzes in the NFL, but I kind of like O'Connell against the blitz. That's the one thing that I like. He does seem to be okay with pressure. Like it's not. I think what he doesn't do as well with is when everybody's covered. Is when he's like, that's when he's like, what do I do? Because it's true, he can't run. But when there's pressure, I feel like he knows where to go. He knows how to throw hot. I think that's there. So I actually think he's gonna have a pretty good game this week.
Yeah, to be honest, me too. Because you look at the numbers, he's pretty damn good under pressure. He gets rid of the ball really quick. There's a lot of people will try to talk about how he holds the ball too long, but he's third in time to throw. So he gets rid of the ball 2.5 seconds. Overall. So he gets rid of the ball really quick, which, I thought early on he did hold the ball a little bit too long, but he's starting to get better and realize that he has to play from the pocket, and I can't do any of the things I think I can do in my head, and he's starting to play like that. And I think that's a good sign because you're a pocket passer, bro. You got to get rid of the damn football. I mean, you really have no choice. If that's what people want, a mobile quarterback. They want that because, you can kind of get both, but and I see the argument for that, but my argument back to that is if you just think we had a bunch of pocket passes in the NFL, right? And you think about like the stat explosion of like last decade, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing but pocket passers, right? There really isn't no more pocket passers.
Mm-hmm.
Like pure ones. There's probably like what, like I don't know, like Dak, maybe Jared Goff,
Kirk Cousins, yeah, but none of those guys
Kirk.
are. I think Brock Purdy's a pocket passer, is he not?
I mean, well, he can make a play though. He's athlete. He could make
No,
guys
I get
miss.
you, but I think he looks. I think his intention is to play from the pocket, and then what I think is good about Purdy is he's able to just be faster enough from a collapsing, edge rusher. But either way, you're right. There's not a lot. There's not a
Yeah,
lot of guys who prefer to be in the pocket. Yeah,
but you see the numbers are going down, right?
Mhm.
Because I think because the NFL you got to play from the pocket. So as I'm saying, I want an athletic pocket passer. People they say they want a mobile quarterback. Like me, I want an athletic pocket passer.
Yeah,
a guy who could.
Yeah, that's Justin Fields' problem right now. Like it's Justin Fields' problem. Like I think Justin Fields would be so good if he just decided like I'm gonna play from the pocket, then decide I can, okay, I can extend the play because he's so good at it. But I think he's constantly looking for the play to break down to make his play, and that's what I don't like. I don't like when it's like, well, it doesn't matter. People say, oh, he needs to be in a better system. He doesn't care what the system is. He just wants the play to break down, like a lot of some of these guys. But I don't know. Some of these guys in the comments are saying Aiden O'Connell, they see Matt Stafford ceiling. That's where I check out. I see Kirk Cousins. I see Kirk Cousins.
I see Kirk Cousins too. That's what I see.
He totally reminds me of Kirk Cousins.
He does. That's.
But people hate him. People hate Kirk Cousins, and he's not bad. That's what people don't understand. That's not an insult when you say you see Kirk Cousins in a quarterback, a Big Ten quarterback. Yeah,
because that's the thing, man. Like, he's playing pretty well. He's gonna get better, right? He's gonna get better because the thing is, he's gonna get smarter. So it's not going to be like a
quicker,
that type of thing. Quicker, smarter, read the field well. He already reads the field pretty well. It's just going to be hard for somebody to come in that if they Raiders end up at 13, that guy is going to have a tough time. He's going to because Aiden's he's not going to try to let him take the job from him. And then that dude has to be tougher than him. He's going to have to work harder than him. He's going to have to be a guy that has a high character guy that can outwork Aiden O'Connell. So the Raiders got to do their homework if they really want to develop somebody that is gonna take his spot. They better do their homework because that guy ain't ready. He's gonna get Aiden alive, and we're gonna be watching Aiden O'Connor for a while. So that's the thing with me. Somebody's got to beat him out, and I don't know, man. His film's pretty decent.
Maybe they just take Joe Alt. Maybe they just take Joe Alt.
That's what I'm saying. My boy. I want to talk myself. Oh yeah, I want to talk myself into like the good draft quarterback, but I'm kind of like the more I watch him, I'm like, oh man, there's all it takes is like they get a new coach. It's some West Coast guy. He's watching. Look at his quick release. His release is so quick.
I think John Gruden would have loved. I think John Gruden is mad. I think John Gruden would love Aiden O'Connell. He used to watch Big Ten, the Boilermaker. Finding Trey Tucker.
Exactly. And that's what I'm worried about. That West Coast guy coming in and be like, you know what? I could do something with this. Quick release. He can run my offense. He's a smart guy. That type of thing. I could see that happening, but that would
go all Jared Verse, all those guys in play. Oh gosh. Yeah, I could see it too. I think you're right.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a toss up. But if let's say they lose every game after this, though, come on, then
that means O'Connell didn't make a difference at all. And they're not. Look, if they're losing 40-36, O'Connell's out there throwing down. I don't think that's the way they're going to lose for the rest of the year. Sadly, I think they're going to be losing 21-18. This like one score games where it's like. Look, if O'Connell is putting up 30 points a game, I'm okay with it. Like that, like let's do it. Let's run it back. Go get the best player available at pick 11 or something. Get the best player available there and go. We'll the great, like I said, the great thing about this is we'll know. I think we'll know with O'Connell by the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll know. I guess that's a good way to look at it. Because it's just the second cluster of quarterbacks. Is the thing like so when you go to like the Jaden Daniels, I watched most of them. I haven't watched Knicks this year, but I watched Knicks a lot last year. I watched like 5 games of him last year, and it's just the same offense. I doubt he's playing that much different. I'm not gonna lie. I doubt it's that much different. He's already like 23 playing college football. So that is that second cluster. You just have to really have to fall in love with one of those guys to kind of take them over a positional player. So we'll see how that goes because
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, he's got the size issue. JJ McCarthy, he is Zach Wilson to me. Every time I watch him, I'm like, oh, that's Zach Wilson. It's like it's there, but it's like, can we wait till he gets there? That's the type of thing with JJ McCarthy. But yeah, it's kind of that's the second cluster. And then Penix, is he even really a first round pick? Same thing
Nope.
with Knicks, right? Are they really first round picks? Is the NFL going to see them there after evaluations and comparing all these guys with the other defensive players? And then the rest of the draft is just not that sexy. So we'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how these guys do.
Get ready for the Aiden O'Connell Spencer Rattler training camp battle.
Spencer Rattler might have lost to Vegas, man. I don't think he wouldn't make it. I don't think he'd make it, man. I don't think he'd make it. All right. Here we go. Let's get to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, who's been hot. He's back in the I think he's top 10 in rush. I don't know, he's top 5 in rushing or something like that. He might hit 1,000 yards. He's had back-to-back 100-yard games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
back-to-back 100-yard games. So Josh Jacobs is hot. I think the Vikings, and especially Brian Flores, I mean, they're going to come out and try to stop him, right? I mean, that's the big thing they're going to do. They're going to try to get the Raiders in the third down, and then they're going to send the craziest blitzes that they can think of at Aiden O'Connell. And they're probably going to send and then sometimes they're going to do what he does where he shows like 8 guys and then like 5 drop out to confuse Aiden. So, because Aiden, he gets a little bit of respect from NFL teams right now. So, I think Josh Jacobs, he's got to set the tone, right? Because they got to get, hopefully they don't run on second down as much as they did the past couple of games. Hopefully they don't run as on first down as they have like past couple of games and kind of switch it up, do some more play action like they did last versus the Chiefs. But what are your thoughts on some of these numbers right here?
I like the over on Rush. I think he gets over 72. I think with O'Connell right now, the fact is like you have a 4th round rookie at quarterback. So I think if the game is within 1 score, Jacobs is getting the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the only one I like. I like his receptions, but his receptions seem really streaky. I haven't tracked them, but he seems like a streaky receiver in a sense, like whether like some games they target him a lot, but for the most part, he seems to be going, he just seems to be, look, he got a 63-yard touchdown against the Chiefs. So I'm not saying that happens this week, but if he's hot in that way right now, because that was crazy. That was like even more than that Seattle touchdown. That was like him just outrunning people, like which I hadn't seen a lot. And I think his legs are pretty good right now. I would take the over on his rush.
Yeah.
I like anytime touchdown. Always like anytime touchdown with him.
Yes, I do. See, I hope this game that they use him in the passing game with the blitzes. I think they can, what they did with the Jets, and did a lot of screens with him against the Jets, where they would get him outside, and we got these blitzers, they're coming from everywhere. I'm telling you, they're gonna throw everything at Aiden. I mean, they're gonna throw everything that blitzes he's never seen before in his life. He's going to have Brian Flores going to throw at him. So I think they can get Jacobs involved that way. I think, we talk about Michael Mayer later. They got to get him involved big time on some like where he's blocking and then releasing and getting 18. They got to do things like that to kind of get these Aiden in a flow and give him outlets to throw the ball to. Because it's going to be hell if he tries to do like the Josh McDaniel stuff and not give him an outlet and run dagger. Yeah, do those type of things, right? But I do like the so I kind of do like the over on the receptions, and I like the over on the receiving rushing yards. I think he's gonna have a big game because they got to get him involved in the passing game because of the blitzes. So, but I kind of even like the 2 touchdowns, man. I like the 2 touchdowns.
You've seen it happen many times. I mean, you've seen it happen many times with him. Like it's not plus 650. I feel like that's odds for something that you don't see happen that much, but we've seen 2 touchdowns from Josh Jacobs a reasonable amount of times.
Yeah, a reasonable amount of times, and I think he's playing really well. I think when they switch the zone, he's more comfortable. That's why we're seeing more big runs from him. We haven't seen that in a while. I mean, there was some last year, but last year he's playing for money. So you got to.
Oh, he's playing for money this year too.
Yeah, technically, yeah, he's playing for money, but let's have that conversation a little bit, Glenn. So I know you're anti-pay running back. I know you are. Do you
Yeah.
think? Do you think right now that Josh Jacobs will be a Raider next year?
Man, it's tough without knowing the coaching staff. Now,
Yeah.
let's say the thing that I want to have happen. Antonio Pierce is who I kind of want Antonio Pierce as my coach next year. I'm leaving a caveat in that we don't know the way this year ends, but I think the guys
Mhm.
like him and I think they play hard. As of now, when I see rumors like David Shaw, I know they're coming from like random Raider journalists that don't get anything right, but sometimes I'm like I'm in shell shock a little bit with Mark Davis hires sometimes. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of like I can work with Pierce as long as Champ Kelly knows what he's doing. I can do that. Provided that Champ Kelly gives good players that like football and chases athletic traits and all that, I can deal with that. If I say all that to say this, if Antonio Pierce is the coach of the Raiders, Josh Jacobs is a Raider next year.
Mhm.
So if what I want to have happen, then he is. I don't want to pay him a large thing. The thing is they do have another franchise tag option with him
Yeah.
because he took over the tag amount this year. And he might get mad. He might get moody. He might post like Drake quotes on Instagram, whatever. Come out here and go play. Come out here and go play. You will be able to make 24 to 25 million over the last couple of years. Go play football. Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? He's going to go do it. We might just get more of the same thing next year. But if they are able to make good, smart, reasonable changes on the O-line, they don't have to be splashes. You don't need to pay $20 million for this tackle, this guard. They just need a couple of average starters scattered throughout the line. And some, starter depth kind of thing, combinations that they can have and find a good five, then I think he is a Raider next year, and I think he's back. I just don't want to see the 4-year, 3-year deal because I don't. I'm gonna bet against his legs. I'm sorry. I don't think we have a Frank Gore career here with him.
See, the Raiders need a backup running back.
Yes,
I think
exactly. Mm-hmm.
that is to me that is a need. To be honest, I like Zeke. I see Zeke out there on 1-year deal. That's a perfect
I'm
backup
in.
1-year deal guy,
Love
right?
him.
Go
Love
get
him.
Zeke, pay him what $3 million or whatever, and
I think
he's really
Jacobs
good in the
is
red zone
Zeke.
too.
Jacobs is kind of Zeke. Like that.
Yeah,
No, when you think about it, like, and they haven't, and I'm scared of paying the big deal because that's why we all stopped liking Zeke.
yeah, it's true. It's true because he got so much money, right?
Yeah.
And he still produced after that. It's just he
It's different
still
when it's just different when he's on that big contract. It's different.
yeah he's really good in the
Oh,
red
I
zone too.
love
I
Zeke.
mean,
I love Zeke.
he would
I've
help in
always
a
have.
whole bunch of things.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That'd be a big one. But that's what the Raiders. They need a backup running back because Zamir White. I don't know what the hell is happening with that. He hasn't played yet. It's been 2 years.
He's
I
horrendous.
mean, to be because let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Running backs. You're there for that long, man. You should probably be eating into Jacob's carries by like already, like now.
Yeah.
You guys should be sharing carries. Like it should be Jacob getting 15, he's getting 10, but we're not even there yet. We're not even at that point. He's getting like 1. And it's
He's
because Jacob's
horrendous.
shoe fell off or something.
I don't get it. I don't get it. They don't have another guy that they can like drop back in an obvious running formation and hand it to him, and I'm like, cool. They don't have any of those guys, and it is sad. It is
I think he
sad.
did fumble. I think he did fumble in his
It's
first
not that
carry.
yeah. It's like that's the thing. You suck and you fumble. Come on.
Exactly. All right. Let's get to Devontae Adams here, who had a big first half. We hit the over of this in the first half. And then didn't have another catch in the second half, I don't think. So Adams, typical stuff here, 68.5, receptions 5.5, anytime touchdowns plus 155, 2+ touchdowns plus 1100. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Adams is gonna be the guy actually that they really try to take away. I don't know how much because I think this whole game is gonna be about how fast does Aiden O'Connell get rid of the ball. When that
Mm-hmm.
happens, I don't know that I love Adams in that game. I think I love Myers. I think I love my boy Michael Mayer. I think I like a lot of people. I hope, right? I hope that's what happens. Occasionally you get a big play to Devontae or something like that. That's great. But to me, I don't know that I love his anytime touchdown. For some reason, I have no analysis on it. For some reason, I don't think he gets a touchdown this game. The yards, I could take or leave. Receptions, I like the over. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I think it's weird. I think they listen to him a bit too much. And it does seem like it's like a streaky thing where it's like, let's get Devontae his 5 targets at the beginning of the game on the first 2 possessions so he doesn't cry. And that's not an indictment on Devontae Adams. Wide receivers are divas. That's how you play the positions. You know what I mean? Cornerbacks are sociopaths. Wide receivers are divas. That's how you have to play the game. Like, you have to be wired a certain way to play that position, and that's fine. He's earned the right to do that. Sometimes you have to tell him, like, we're trying to win a football game, right? And it's not like you need to target him all the time, but if it's there, throw it to him, you know? And to me, it just seems like the way the game flow is, they target him to kind of shut him up at the beginning of the game, it seems like. And then the rest of the game, perhaps coverage rolls over to him, but it just seems like a more organic would be to go to him every so often. You know, a more organic style would just be to every so often go to him.
Yeah, because my thing with him and his role in this offense, and him being the main guy, is that he's slowing down a little bit, which concerns
me. Do you
me
think so?
Yeah, he's slowing down a little bit. He's just not getting open like he used to.
Oh, okay.
So he lost to the slot corner on the Dolphins, and I was like, oh, and then he lost last week to Snead a couple times. Right. And he's, I guess watching him from the year before, he never lost. And then seeing him win and then lose and then maybe lose again. It just throws me off a little bit. But he is 32 at this point.
Yeah.
Or 31. And he's kind of getting up there in age. And that's why I think they got to start spreading the ball around. Because I don't think you can depend on him on third down winning, which I think sometimes in the third downs that's what they do. They put him in the slot and he ends up losing, and then O'Connell has nobody else to throw to because he's expecting him to win, and it's getting like that. And I'm the only one who says that because I watch the film and stuff, and people think I'm crazy, but it's something I see, and that's why I think they gotta maybe a couple games. They got to play through somebody else, I think, to kind of get this offense going. Because I think and I don't know if he's injured. He could be injured. He could be hurt. Like, there's a lot of things I don't know about these NFL players. They play through crazy injuries and they decide, those type of things. So, there's like 6 people left to chat when I said that. So,
I don't want to hear it.
Well, these guys are idiots.
Well, it could be like, because to me, I watch like D Hop, right? Like DeAndre Hopkins, like, he's got to be around the same age, if not older. And you see, he's not prime Texans D Hop, but like he does still pop off the screen. And when I watch Devontae Adams, he does still pop off the screen. He is still able to make the catches that other wide receivers can't make. And 100%. To me, I think he's just a lot more emotional than we think. I think he's not soured on O'Connell. I don't want to put like rumors out there, but I think the honeymoon's over with him and Aiden, right? Like a little bit. Like I think he's kind of just like, hey, that's my guy. Perhaps he's trying to help him develop. But I don't know that I think he's a lot more of a diva than I thought when they traded him and for him. And I think he should be. But I'm also like, what do we want the Raiders to be next year? And is he a part of a 2 to 3 year rebuild period? Yeah. And that's where I get. I'm sure we're getting I saw a question there, so we might save that to the end. But I'm just saying, do I want to see what I have in Trey Tucker and Michael Mayer for the rest of the year and perhaps work through them? And Jacoby Myers, who I have for another couple of years. Do I want to work with those guys, or do I want to make sure my wide receivers one that the previous regime traded for? Do I want to do that?
Yeah, because I'll say this, because my thing is, maybe we could open it up for him a little bit too as well if they play through somebody else.
True.
It's true. It's just not. It's like last year, you could line up Devontae anywhere. I'm like, he's gonna win. It doesn't matter who the hell was in front of him. Didn't matter if it was Jalen Ramsey. Didn't matter if it was the best corner in football. Didn't matter if it was Denzel Ward. Whatever whoever you could think of. You put up Devontae Adams in front of them, he's beating them. And this year, he might win, and I guess
I
that's
know.
kind of so. I don't know if he's hurt. He could be hurt though. You know what I mean? Like that's
I
the
know he
thing.
had
Like
that shoulder, shoulder thing. They said that for the rest of the year was going to kind of bother him. So perhaps it's off the line. He's having trouble. Kind of if somebody presses up on him, it's he's having trouble. Perhaps, or Father Time is winning.
it's
Either way, it's a
yeah.
conversation to be had, but it's also a lot of dead money to be had. So whoever wants him, if my dream is that the Chicago Bears just have to have him and they commit to and with one of their other first round picks, they draft Caleb Williams, right? They draft Caleb Williams and they're like, well, we don't see a wide receiver. We have DJ Moore and then we could have Devontae Adams with him. I'd be like, yes, let's get all those picks. Let's get how bad do you want him? Which would be, I think, would be a good trade for the Bears too. But that's my dream for this, because I don't see him a part of the next 3 years. And that's not an indictment of him. It's not because I think he stinks. It's just you got it. Like, I mean, the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
That like you have to look at it that way. If he gets traded, it's really tough to be like, I need this wide receiver for the next 3 years, and I don't know who our quarterback is for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about it.
100% sure. I agree with that. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go to Jacoby Myers here, who is Mr. Consistent. He's a great number 2 receiver, man. Great number.
Yes,
2.
he is. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm.
I like Jacoby Myers is number 2. So he got 3.5 receptions, 41.5 yards, plus 190 anytime touchdown. His anytime touchdown has been going down. I think he's at 7 now. He has 7 touchdowns this year, I believe. Cool. And plus 70, plus 340. So he never really goes over 70. I think he did last week. He had like 5 and 75. But I'm gonna take the over on the receptions and the yards again, because like I said, I think they use him for say a lot of things you can say about Bo Hardegree, but he was smart enough to put Jacoby Myers in the slot. And Jacoby Myers has been playing pretty damn well since they moved him back inside. He's helped Aiden O'Connell on blitzes. He gets his head around really quick. He's a good slot receiver, and they got him playing inside, and it's been helping him become more productive as well. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like Jacoby Myers a lot. I love the pickup since it's happened, and I think he's everything I thought, and actually a little bit more than I thought he'd be. And I like the over on receptions. That seems easy. Yards I don't touch with him, but anytime touchdowns is actually really good. I actually like those odds a lot. I could totally see him getting a touchdown in this game. In the red zone, I think he's really good. And no, I'm actually happy. I think he'll be a good, if they do go young quarterback next year. It is nice to have a guy like that. It's nice to have a guy you can just sit down, that you can find. You see it right now. Even I know the Panthers stink, but like Bryce Young leans on Adam Thielen so much, and he reminds me of Adam Thielen. Jacoby Myers, just the way he's able to just sit down, doesn't wow you, but he's always just catching the ball somehow. And I like him, and I like him a lot in this game too. I think he's another guy who's going to be running a lot of the short game that O'Connell's going to need when Brian Flores sends 5 or more.
Yeah, and they got to depend on the inside guys a lot, especially Jacoby Myers. I don't have Hunter Renfrow in here, but I think Hunter Renfrow might have a pretty good game. It just depends on how much they throw, because that's what I'm interested in too. Like we get past the bye, are we just going to be like, okay, Aiden, let's go, or they're gonna kind of try to keep doing the pound of rock thing? So that's gonna be interesting to see how they do that. If they allow him to kind of take the reins and kind of throw a little bit more, keep the play action going. But they gotta keep it inside a little bit to beat these blitzes. And Myers and Renfrow and even Mayer, they're pretty good at getting their heads around and figuring these things out. So
yeah,
all right, let's go to Michael Mayer. Which Glen was rocking the jersey today. He busted out the brand new jersey.
It's here.
Michael Mayer, his stuff is going down, man. I mean, we're under plus 500 for 50 plus yards. We're at plus 375. Anytime touchdowns under plus 500. We're rocking it. 2.5 receptions, receiving yards 25.5. Let's show up the jersey. Let me show you guys the jersey right here, 87. The Michael Mayer. But yeah. I'm hitting over on the receptions and the yards. I'm doing that. Even in this game, I'm going to plus. I'm going to 50 plus because
Yeah, oh yeah.
I believe they gotta get. You know what? Because I did the film breakdown, the rookie review, right? And I was talking about it, man. I just want one game. I just want one game. He gets 12 targets. Just give him 12. And I think he's gonna go off. And I think people are gonna be talking about like, why were they doing this earlier? It's gonna be
Yeah.
like all over Twitter. And he's gonna be making all these crazy catches and doing all these crazy things if they play through him for a game. And now I think this is the type of game that you do that when they're blitzing, and he's gonna get a lot of one-on-ones, and you can just throw it up to him in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Like
No,
and O'Connell can just lean back and throw it up.
I'm all for it. I think I like the overs on all these. Look, he's not an anytime touchdown guy yet. I think he should be, but he's
Mhm.
not yet. That's okay. That might be a year two thing with him. I think he's suffering right now from being a part of a really, really good tight end class. Like the best we've seen in quite some time. And
Yeah.
Laporta is a monster. I mean, Kincaid looks pretty good too. But I've been just so impressed with him. Every time they throw him the ball, something good happens, right? I know he had that weird
Mhm.
catch fumble incident in Miami. That's okay, but it was an incomplete pass. He never had it. But yeah, other than that, they've had some really, uh, really good outcomes when throwing him the football. And I like the over 50. Look, like I said, if they're going to blitz all day, throw it to him. He's tough to knock backwards. So if you're on 3rd and 4 and he runs a route short of the sticks, I don't hate that. Right? Like
Mhm.
3rd and 4, he runs the route, 3 yard and just kind of shows his numbers to O'Connell. You throw him, he can turn around, he can shove his, shoulder into somebody and just get that extra first down. He's big as hell. Like
Yeah.
he is big. And no, I'm so excited for him because a lot of times like I've had issues with the Raiders in the past where like you'll watch some of their guys and they just don't look as they don't look like real football players when you watch the
Mhm.
Raiders. Like sometimes you'll watch like other teams and their number 3 receiver looks like a ball player.
Yeah.
But like Denarius Moore, you're like the Raiders love Denarius Moore and he was like really small and you're like, "Ah,
Yeah.
man, this doesn't look like a ball player to me." But like, okay,
Mhm.
sure. And Michael Mayer is big and strong and reasonably skilled with the ball in his hand and catches everything. We got to make this work.
Right. That's what I was like. When I was breaking it down, man. I was breaking down his film. I was like, man, this dude has some talent, and it's
Yep.
like, what is every time I watch him, like, what are you gonna be like in 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I think about. Because if Devontae's gone, Jacoby Myers gone, he's going to be here, and he's going to be fed, right? And I think he could become I think he can become what TJ Hawkinson and all those guys
Yep.
are, but he blocks better than them.
No, he's not like explosive the way Kittle is with the ball, but he does have like some Kittle to his
Yeah.
game, like where
Yeah.
like Kittle is definitely more of a fast downfield threat that
Mhm.
Mayer probably never will be. It's just that wasn't his game. But Mayer in that short game, and even I'd like to see them use him on the seam, like throw it over a linebacker's head to him because I think you'll be surprised actually what you get out of that. But yeah, you're right, and that is the case for the splash quarterback though. Is the guy like Mayer, where a quarterback moves the pocket, extends the play, and Mayer's just sitting wide open in the middle of the field. That's the case for the Caleb Williams, the Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels. That
Yeah.
I think that's the guy that benefits from that is the guy, the big target. Oh crap, I'm just kind of ad libbing here. Oh, there's my big tight end.
And just throw it up to him. He just
Yeah.
Michael just
That's
snatches it out of the air. Yeah.
that's the case you make is that you have him and you have Trey Tucker who can run 4-2, 4-3.
Yeah.
Like that's the case to be made for the quarterback splash.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, all right. Let's get to this game line. Raiders game line here. Vikings at Raiders. Raiders are plus 136. It's a spread of we got 3-point spread. Total points 40. What do you think of some of these game lines here? What do you got?
I think bet of the week is over. I don't think it's gonna be that low scoring of a game. I think
No.
the Vikings are gonna score. I think the Raiders are gonna score. I mean, The spread is, I mean, it sucks being home dogs. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it sounds like Minnesota. This is Minnesota's first visit to Vegas, so they're gonna send fans for sure. That first time is always a novelty for the fan base, especially while the Raiders aren't that good.
Yeah.
Let's think about that. Let's think about that home field advantage. They always talk about Vegas, like the home field advantage. Oh, there's no home field advantage. If you're good, there is. Fans ain't gonna pay fucking $500 to come see
That
their team.
the Raiders Chargers game is a perfect example.
Yeah,
A couple
they're
years
not
ago.
going to pay $500 to get their ass kicked. That's just not going to happen. They're going to go there because they can have fun. They can go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant and then watch the Vikings go in there and Josh Dobbs beat them. That's why the novelty is so good for the fans. So get rid of the novelty. It can happen within a year. But I like the over.
You like the over? See, I kind of think the Raiders can win this game, and
they can. No, they can.
Matt was kind of disagreeing with me on the question. He's a little more worried than I am, but I just feel like just the way they played against some of the better teams in the NFL, right? Even though the Chiefs kind of separated a little bit, they were in that game for most of it. They overachieved that game. Okay, they overachieved against the Dolphins. And the Jets, whatever, but they really did overachieve against two really good football teams. So I think if they come in and they're going to come in kind of hungry because they lost 2 in a row, if they overachieve against this Vikings team, they have a really good chance of beating them. So I'm going to take the +3. I'm going to take the +3 on the Raiders to at least cover that. And because I just got a good feeling about this game. I think the Raiders are going to go in there and win this game. And and then they got the Chargers next week. So I just got a good feeling about this for something. I don't know. I feel like Aiden O'Connell, he plays well against the blitz. He's gonna make some plays.
I like that.
And I think they're gonna surprise people. And I think the Josh Dobbs thing is just gonna be over after this game. The Raiders are gonna end the Josh Dobbs experiment, and then the Vikings get to figure out something out.
Yeah. No, I don't mind. I think I wouldn't mind somebody taking Raiders +3. Right now, I just want to me it's I haven't given up. I mean, I kind of have because it's the AFC, but like I haven't given up on the fact that it's an unwatchable product or that it's a watchable product. I haven't given up on that yet. Which I think is what a lot of Raider fans will know the difference between of are we going to make the playoffs and is it watchable? And because those are the two questions you ask yourself as Raider fans. A lot of times, it's still watchable. I think there's young talent, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer. I want to see stuff from those guys. I don't. If a bunch of veterans win the game for the Raiders, it doesn't. Not that it doesn't do a lot for me. I love a Raider win; it's fantastic. But I want to see the young guys. I want to see the guy who's going to be around for the next few years. That's what I want to see. And let's go beat them. Let's go beat them, but at the hands. But see Aiden O'Connell throwing touchdowns to Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker. Like that would be the best way to do it.
When was the last time the Raiders beat the Vikings? Are they suck against the Vikings?
Super Bowl 1976. Yeah.
Really? Is that true?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. No, didn't they? Didn't I thought they beat them like rather recently? Maybe not. I remember they lost to Christian Ponder one time. I feel like, but
no, they beat Christian Ponder. That was 11. Carson Palmer. Yeah, I remember that.
They did beat him. That might have been the last time because I remember they lost to Teddy Bridgewater once.
Yeah, and they went to that was the one where they lost like 34-14 the last time they played the Vikings.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
So no, it hasn't been great. Yeah, it hasn't been great.
But the Raiders, Kirk Cousins is playing because if Kirk Cousins is playing, I'd be terrified.
I like Kirk, man.
I don't know what happened.
He's on my short list of guys.
He's on your short list, yeah.
I don't know I don't know the Achilles, how the Achilles thing is gonna work. That was before he got hurt, he was the guy like next year I'd like on a couple year deal. I'd be like, you could talk me into that. You could talk me into that. If you sign him and then you draft your Joe Alt or your Fashawn, I forget what the guy's name is for Penn State, like one of those tackles and or whatever, best player available. I was like, I like Kirk. A lot of people don't. I think people don't like him because of his primetime record. He's actually a very good
Yeah.
quarterback, I think.
Yeah, because the thing is too, is you got to pay him. I don't know how much money he's gonna want. That's the thing with Kirk. How much money is he gonna want? He's gonna want a
Yeah,
lot of money.
it's true, and it's gonna be weird for free agent quarterbacks this offseason. Like I don't know. Like there's the Justin Fields scenario, right? Like there's he's gonna be out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be available, I think, unless Jim Harbaugh takes the job. My hot take for the Bears is that if Jim Harbaugh takes the Bears job, Justin Fields is still the quarterback there. And but otherwise, I think he's going to
They
be.
bring Greg Roman back.
I'm telling you, and I bet you it kind of works for like a year. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. This is
We're
crazy.
hire. He's 12, and all the Raiders fans are mad. The Raiders fans are gonna be mad. See, we should have hired him.
Yeah, and no, I'm telling you, I bet you it works for like a year, maybe even 2, and then like after a while, then it just crashes hard. But like, I'm telling you, like, you have to think about some of these things. Some people are like, oh, it's going to be quarterback in the draft at number 7 overall after we trade up. It's like maybe, but you have to think about all the other ones and realize that there's a lot of routes you can go to make this team better.
All right, I got a couple questions in here, and then we'll get to the game lines. So how have they played against Brian Flores' defense? So I'm trying to remember. I mean, Derek Carr used to play pretty good against Brian Flores.
That Ryan Fitzpatrick Arden Key heartbreaker face mask, that was Brian Flores, right?
Yeah, and Carr threw like 340 yards in that game.
Yeah, he played well. I thought the offense played well in that game. And Carr was hurt in that game.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
He played pretty well. And then, of course, there was a grab face mask and
Ryan Fitzpatrick, our killer, our daddy, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's our father.
I hate that guy. I think he used to do all the time.
I was at a game when he was on the Titans. I was at a game. I had a horrible surgery. Like I was like incapacitated.
Matt McGloin, right?
Yeah. And I watched him just go up the field last second. Rob Baronis, rest in peace, field goal to win the game. And I was just like, I was like, it was another contemplate. Am I still a fan? But I'm here.
There's a lot. Actually, that year there was a lot of the Chiefs one was a very had me wondering if I was a fan.
Like, does God not want me to do this anymore? Like, is he telling me to stop watching football? You know, that was what that felt like.
Yeah. Do we think we could pick up the Vikes blitzing? I think this is going to be a tough one because I think with the Chiefs, it was interesting. They didn't pick up the blitzes that well, but O'Connell was beating them because, like, if you go to PFF, right, and you'll see the pressures on PFF, the offensive linemen they didn't give a lot of pressures, but O'Connell was still under pressure 40% of the time, and a lot of that because it was free rushers, but he was getting rid of the ball. So I think it's gonna be a little bit on him, on O'Connell, and understanding where these guys come from, where they're coming, but just it's gonna be tough though, man. It's not going to be easy. They're going to try to confuse him. Like they're going to be a lot of times where he thinks this guy's coming and this guy drops back, and then it's just everywhere. He's going to be in hell a little bit, but hopefully they give him some outlets. So that's what they got to do this week. They got to give him easy, hot read outlets, and if they don't do that, then he's in hell. Really,
I think you're right.
And do you trust PG scheme against the Vikings key players, or is he just going to call it? I think he's just. All right, so this is a good question too, because I think he should watch the Bears film because the Bears played like primarily cover 2 most of the game, and Dobbs was in hell. So make that soft arm, throw in the tight windows. That should be the game plan. Make him try to dice him up, but I hate to watch that Dolphins film. Like, were you not ready? They run one play. You weren't ready for it, and they went up and down the field, and then you would stop them on 3rd down and get off the field, and that's cool. But you know what I mean? Tua still threw like 300 yards in that game because they kept spamming that stupid ass play. That's why sometimes I watch Mike McDaniel. I'm like, you run the same play over and over again. And I don't know how the NFL's not stopping it. I never.
It's Tyreek Hill. I mean, Tyreek Hill's the MVP in my opinion. I think he's the MVP of the year. Everybody wants to give it to such and such. Tyreek Hill is the MVP because the Dolphins stink without him, I think.
Yeah, but he's not going to get. He's a wide receiver.
He's not, but I mean, if you give Brock Purdy the MVP over Tyreek Hill, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's bad. I actually think Brock Purdy's very good, but
yeah. See.
You might get 2,000 yards. This guy might get 2,000 yards on a team that likes to run the football sometimes.
See, my flip side on that is Brock Purdy might break the YPA record.
Yeah, but is that what wins the MVP?
Yeah, it does, dog.
I know it does. You had a whole thing on it, but it's like it's just got to MVP's got to be eye test, man. It's got to you got to look at it and be like, that's the MVP. And somebody, I know you're right. If I was a bet, that's actually a good betting thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
YPA. Does YPA win the MVP? Take the future out, right? Like that. Yeah. You're right. Like take a future out on somebody who's got the YPA. That's correct. But I'm like, damn, dude. Like you're watching a generational speed guy just taking a ball. That touchdown he had against the Raiders was ridiculous. Like that was something that you watch and you're like, I never thought I'd ever see that in the NFL as a fan. Like just when I saw Michael Vick in 2001 for Virginia Tech, I thought that football couldn't get crazier than that. And then this happens. Like that to me is the MVP.
Yeah, because my thing with yeah, I know Hill. He probably, with how he's producing and how he carries that football team, he probably should win MVP. But I think, with the numbers that Purdy is putting up, and it's not sexy with the touchdowns because he doesn't have the Peyton Manning touchdowns or Dan Marino touchdowns, but he has the YPA and the adjusted net yards per 10 that they have in 84 and 04. So it's like, what do you do? Do you just knock him because he has those great players around him? Or, do you just look at the numbers and be like, hey, but, Dak's coming though, bro.
I was going to say, you want to know my dark horse is Dak
coming,
Prescott.
Bro. Dak is not playing around.
If Dak shreds the Eagles this weekend, which is not out of the question, if he shreds the Eagles this weekend and the Cowboys somehow win, which I don't know, maybe we didn't say that game or not, but
I put it on.
You got to put him in the conversation.
I got it on here. I messed up the thing, though. I always mess these up, man. I swear I suck at this. But anyways, all right. Bills at Chiefs. We got Bills at Chiefs, Colts at Bengals, Jaguars at Browns, Eagles at Cowboys. Just ignore the Cleveland and Pittsburgh because I suck at this. But Bills at Chiefs. I'm going KC because Sean McDermott and his 9/11 comments. So that's I'm going Bills. There's no way they survive that.
Yeah,
there's no way they did.
I'm with you. No, they're gonna actually rally around that. People think that that's like
you think so?
When were these players born on the Bills?
Yeah. I guess.
How old were they when 9/11? The average player on the Bills, how old were they when 9/11 happened?
Probably like 5.
Care. They don't care. None of them care. I'm not trying to mean the issue. I'm not trying to like downplay the attack or anything, but come on, like these guys are like I don't know. I think they're gonna beat the Chiefs this weekend. I'm with you. They're gonna rally around that.
Yeah. This is a funny comment, man. There's just so many like historical wars. Like you could have went to the Punic Wars and like came up with an analogy. There's just so many.
When's
wars.
The coach gonna talk about cosmic galaxy wars and stuff, man? Like when's he gonna be like, dude, man, we're fighting a crazy cosmic war right now? When's that gonna happen, man? Like Mike McDaniel. That's why I don't mess with Mike McDaniel. He won't go that far.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The Bills are desperate too, man. If they don't win this game,
I need them in the playoffs. I can't have the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. I need them in the playoffs. It has to be the Bills or the Colts. Those two teams cannot be in the playoffs this year. I need the Bills. The Texans is fine. CJ Stroud can play. So but I need the Bills in the playoffs and the Texans. Those need to be the two wild card teams this year, provided that our Raiders don't go on an absolute legendary run here.
Yeah, because we need the college football playoff. This is the committee for the playoffs this year for the AFC. We need the committee who just puts the Bills in.
Yeah. We need. Yeah, and you're not putting Gardner Minshew in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Like those two. Yeah, no.
Well, hopefully the Raiders could beat.
I was gonna say the Raiders have a chance to stop that from happening. So it's. I will say, yeah.
Yeah. So. Jags and Browns, so Colts and Bengals. Actually, I like the Bengals in this one. I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the Bengals this one. Jake Browning actually, he looked pretty damn good. He looked pretty damn good out there. I do think that teams were playing like some ignorant cover one against him. He was just throwing it over the top of their heads. I still believe that, but we'll see how he goes this week. I mean, if I have Jamar, if I could play like halfway, if I could just throw a football in the NFL, and I have the ability to do that, and I got Jamar Chase, you know what I'm saying? I could probably just toss it over their heads too a little bit, but I still think that their defense is still really good. At the end of the day, they got a good defense, and they play good defense over there.
I have a weird admission thing I have to admit with the Bengals. I thought Jake Browning for the long, like I straight up thought that he had been in the league for like 10 years. And I thought it was, I think it was it Brantley? One of the, like, there was this guy like Brantley from Florida or something. I can't remember who. I thought it was him. Like I was like, oh, that guy sucks. And then I was like, oh no, he's from Washington a year or two ago. I was like, oh, so this is like a newer guy. I was like, okay, this makes sense. He's playing okay football. Like for the trajectory looks a little bit better. I like the Bengals in this game as well. Favored is weird. I was kind of hoping they'd be home dogs in that, but yeah, that was a really impressive performance against a pretty good Jacksonville defense. And I actually like the over in that game too. 44 is the low, and the Colts, every game they have seems over all the time.
So Jaguars at Browns. We'll talk to the Eagles Cowboys last. Jaguars at Browns. Now this it's over. I think they hit this. I think the Jags find a way to score some points. Even though it's so weird looking at Trevor Lawrence's stats, man, because they're very like he's a game manager. Stats. He's like 15 touchdowns on the whole year. Is he gonna throw 20? You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be like a top 10 guy, right? And he's only throwing 20 touchdowns in a full 17 game season. That's kind of interesting with him. And the Browns are favored too, which I thought was super interesting. The Browns are
How
favored.
Good is that Browns defense? I heard it was generational, and they get their ass kicked a lot of times.
Depends on the week, bro. It depends on the week.
But I thought Joe Flacco played well. I watched that whole Browns-Rams game. I thought Joe Flacco played well. I thought that was some of the better quarterback they've had this year. He played good. His arm is still live. Bro, he said he was playing the quarterback with his kids in the backyard. He was ripping it in there to those kids, I bet, man. Like that arm looked good.
Oh man, see, I didn't get to see him that much, but
did you see his final interception in that play? The one where he threw it down the field? So he had a play, and I know this was such a father time moment, I feel like. He had a play where I forget who was going deep. It was running like a deep corner route. And there was a safety there, but he thought he could just throw it over the safety, and it was like 3 yards short, and the safety just picked it off. And it just felt like, man, Flacco's like, damn, I guess I don't have that. But he was I think the Jaguars +3 is a good bet here. I know Cleveland plays better defense at home, but the point total 33. I know it's CJ Beathard, right? Or is it Lawrence? Is Lawrence actually playing?
That's the thing. I remember that. That's probably why the Browns are favored. But he's a game time decision which means he's playing. The quarterback's game.
And I also would either way, I would take the over on the 33 points. 33 points is low for an NFL football game. I mean, we saw you saw the very low Steelers Patriots game the other day going at 30. That's just too low.
It's not Iowa. Iowa's not playing. So Eagles at Cowboys. This is the Dak Prescott MVP game. I mean, if he wants to win MVP, he has to beat the Eagles. It is really, and he has to have a really good performance. And actually, I think he is. I think he's got a really good performance at home. He plays really well at home. They score a lot of points at home. I think he's going to show out against the Eagles team that had a tough loss the week before. I mean, a tough loss. They got their ass kicked. They got ran out the gym, and I think they're gonna have another disappointing loss, and the Cowboys have a chance to get back in the first place and take care of that division. So I like the Cowboys, and I like the over too on this game.
I like the over. I think it's gonna be an absolute barn burner. I am a little bit scared of Dallas's favorites in this game. That being said, I think Dak still has his big game and they win on a last second Aubrey field goal. But I am a little scared of Dallas getting by 3.5. That's a little scary. I would take the Eagles in the points. However, I do think Dallas finds a way to win this game. Very close. It's a perfect Sunday night football game. I feel like NFC East really shines on Sunday night football. I feel like those games are always really good. And no, I think Dak is awesome. Dak always kills me because Connor Cook.
Why'd you bring that up, bro?
I'm just saying it is a franchise changing pick in the 4th round. You don't ever even pay Carr the second contract.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about that. Carr gets hurt, right? Carr gets hurt.
That's true.
And let's say and Dak wins a playoff game against the Houston Texans. And you're like, this guy looks better than Derek Carr, even in his MVP season or MVP caliber close to it season. And Dak comes in and shreds them. And it's enough to be like, damn, I don't know if I could pay Carr. I can kind of start this contract thing over again. And you have Dak.
Maybe they pay Mac first.
Right, you know? Right, exactly. There's so many things happen if you take Dak Prescott. So many things happen. And Jerry Jones wanted Connor Cook.
That's why they traded up in front of him.
They traded up to get Connor Cook over Dak Prescott. So many. And it's like, it's a 4th round. Who cares? But I care.
I never even thought about it that way. Like, because Carr gets hurt.
I think about it every day, Marcus.
I'm at work. He goes and plays in Denver and just balls.
I'll be at work and I'll clutch my heart and fall to the ground, and everybody wonders what's wrong with me. And I think about it's the 4th round.
I seriously never ever thought about that.
2016 draft.
Because I remember that year before that year started, I bought tickets to go watch them in Denver because I'm like, I'm gonna go watch the Raiders win the division in Denver. I was so confident about that season,
Connor
right?
Cook Denver game.
Oh man, no, it started off with Matt McGloin first of all, and he had like a wide open Amari Cooper. He like,
I remember the game was over when he missed.
It was like 25 degrees, bro. I was sitting on the other side where there's no sun. I was just dying watching that game, and I couldn't believe it.
Killed me.
But I mean, I couldn't cancel the trip. All right, let's get back to these questions before these depressing moments, depressing Raiders memories.
Can we win? Can we start winning, please? At some point? Seriously. Like what more? What more do I need to go through as a fan? Yeah.
All right.
I'm watching Henry Ruggs AI art in a Lamborghini the other day. That's what I saw. Can we please just win again?
Yeah, right, man. All right. Why was AP promoted to head coach over the other coordinators? I think just because he's a leader.
Yeah, they love him.
They love him.
And I think he's the next coach of the Raiders.
What round should we draft a center? I start at 2nd round for drafting centers. I'm not unless the dude's like a generational center. Like it has to be like a. I mean, even Creed Humphrey. He's one of the best centers in football. He's 2nd round. I mean, Jason Kelsey's 5th round. You could find a good center in the 3rd round too, like around there. That's usually where centers start to go, and you can find a good one there.
Yeah, center, and you want the center guard versatility. A lot of times, you want a guy that you can do a little bit of both with. You want a guy that, like, if they're a good guard, then perhaps they're your center if you need if you need it. That to me is what you like. If I see a good, just overall interior lineman that could do a little bit of both, then I think if I'm late first, but again, this is not the Raiders' problems, it's the late 1st round picks. So if we're in that scenario where it's like, 26 overall and you're like, God, man, this guy's guard and center looks like he's got versatility there, sign me up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what else we got? We got Chiefs gonna lose at home in December. I mean,
yes.
It has happened before, right? I mean,
yeah, they're good, but they're not infallible, and I think they're going to limp into the playoffs.
If the Raiders, what is the astronomical odds? Oh man, that'd be crazy. I mean, Aiden O'Connell would be the starter for sure if that's.
Oh yeah. No, he goes and
he earned it.
If he goes to Arrowhead and beats the Chiefs, which is what would have to happen for that to be the case. He beats the Chargers on Thursday Night Football. The whole country sees it. Not that that's some huge feat or anything, but yeah, beating the Chargers. and then beating a decent Bronco team, which ends up being a decent team, which I don't love, but you beat the Broncos at home, which can happen. I mean, look, it can happen. I'm not saying it can't. The Chiefs one is 4-1 would be a little more likely. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs again because I think the Chiefs are going to need to win later in the year to secure seeding. But at Arrowhead will be tough. But hey, let's try it.
Yeah, man. People talking about we getting people with a PTSD moment.
That Dak Prescott one.
You ruined that for me, man. I never really thought about it that way.
No,
I never thought about it.
I think about it quite often. Every time I watch him play, and I'm just like, man, that's a good quarter. And it's weird. To be fair, Dak didn't play like this at Mississippi State. He was like a Tebow.
Yeah, I know.
At Mississippi State, he wasn't this pocket passer. I don't know what that was, where that came from. It was this weird thing where Jerry just was like, I guess I'll just take Dak then if I can't get Connor Cook. And then it just ended up being good. So, yeah.
Should the Raiders just draft the best available O-line or D-line? We got to watch O'Connell play the rest of the year I fully give that answer. Because I just got to watch him play the rest of the year, man. But if he plays pretty well and they like him and he gets some more production out of him or something like that, they might have to go that way, but we'll see. I mean, if they fall in love with the quarterback, though, they gotta pick him. If they really feel like they could do something with him.
You don't pass on generational talent. I don't think O'Connell's going to get to the point where you're going to say, I can let the next great prospect get past me at quarterback. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get there. If he does, it's a good problem to have, but I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not going to be down Tyree Wilson yet, but Byron Young is not playing. I'm worried. That's what we should maybe.
Never like the Byron Young pick, but you also can't be a bust in the third round. That's literally the no, it's true. You can't be. Like it's not real. Like the bust is a first round pick. First round pick is what a bust is. And Tyree Wilson is on trajectory to be one. I don't think he is. I think he's going to be a guy that they'll need to move around a little bit. I think that foot injury is still a thing. I think it really set back his at least his athletic explosiveness in there. And I think people are doing this weird thing where they're writing him off right away just because of Cleveland Ferrell. But I don't think they're anywhere near the same player. They're completely different styles of player. And I just got to see it. Like, look, he's not stopping me from adding on the defensive line. I'll say that much, obviously. But what if you add on the defensive line and then you're like, oh crap, Tyree Wilson's good now. Then you have this insane defensive line. And I think defensive line is like pitching in baseball where you can't have enough. And if you don't know what to do in the draft a good defensive lineman, draft the most athletic defensive lineman available, and you figure it out. And we'll see. But I wouldn't write him off now.
See, with Tyree Wilson, I'll say this. Jermaine Johnson at the Jets, I bring him up a lot because Jermaine Johnson was terrible as a rookie. Okay. And this year with the Jets, he's a similar build. He is balling, right? Yeah. So he took a leap from year one to year two. And but they move him around now. He plays a lot more inside on third down. So my vision is here. We got Kuntz is clearly taking the next step. He is balling. He doesn't have the sacks yet, but he's got the pressures. He got 5 pressures last week. He is beating left tackles, and it doesn't matter who's in front of him. Kuntz has taken the next step as a pass rusher, right? So now you got Kuntz, you got Tyree Wilson inside, you got Max Crosby. Kuntz is going to get better next year because obviously, if he's playing like this, like in this year 3, he's going to be even better year 4. So you got Kuntz, Tyree Wilson inside. I don't know who the other guy is inside. They could draft him. I don't know. They could find guy. Then they got Max Crosby, and you can mix those in on third down and move them around, do some stunts. You can look like the Jets D-line, in my opinion, because I think there's a real strong D-line. Just the development of Malcolm Kuntz, in my opinion, is huge.
Trayvon Walker for Jacksonville, drafted high because of his athletic traits. He's not Aiden Hutchinson, right? But also he's having more splash plays this year as a first round pick, number 1 overall. And there's a lot of there's a lot of development that can be done, and like defensive line, it can be a light switch too. Like it can just be, it can be something where they're night and day different the next year. the problem with a guy like Clelin Ferrell is you knew how good he could be right away when you saw him. You're like, that's a rotational edge that you took in 4th overall. It was never like there was never like, no, he could be the next Dwight Freeney. He can be no. You watched him play and you're like, like he's slow, and he's smart, but he's slow, and that's the problem. It's like utility infielder, in baseball. It's like that's his ceiling. Tyree Wilson does have the chance to be very, very explosive and good. So you have to keep going with that.
If QB not available first round, does cornerback make sense? If there's one to take, Matt was talking about how the cornerback class isn't that good, but sometimes I wouldn't watch that stuff myself because there's always these super DB coach scout guys who are like, oh, these guys aren't very good.
DB's weird. DB's a weird position to take in the first round. Safety or corner. It's like, you see your Sauce Gardner sometimes where everybody sees it. Witherspoon looks like he's a very, very, very good player this year. So there's guys that are out there that everybody sees as good, but also it's the position itself. I feel so bad. I actually think it's the new toughest position in football is to play corner. Like if you truly want to be like a good corner, it's really tough because it's so flag based. It's so much like, did a referee see something on that play? There's a new rule every year that ruins your position, and it's really bad. It's tough to play corner. I like a bunch of number 2 corners on my team and a good scheme more so than I like the Sauce Gardner type. That's just the way I look at it. So that might answer your question as far as do you take one really high in the first round? I'm a little scared of that. Rest in peace,
right,
DJ Hayden. I love you, but I just I'm not.
Yeah.
I
got you. I got let's get these last 2 questions to get out of here. So, what do you guys think of Justin Herbert's development? I mean, I haven't got too much Justin Herbert earlier. I don't know.
Beta.
He actually yelled at somebody. I was proud of him.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. 5 years.
He finally yelled at his teammates. Finally yelled at his teammates.
Beta.
Finally yelled at him.
Called it from the get-go.
All right. Depending on where Raiders land round 1, how would you feel? The Raiders took Kool-Aid. See, like a corner like that's going to be sound. That's going to come from Nick Saban's, offense, and he's been playing pretty well. That's a good guy. Around like the 15 range or something like that. They could play corner because the Raiders need corners. I don't know. I think Jalen Johnson, after watching him on film against the Vikings, he is not leaving Chicago. There's no way he gets out of there without getting franchise tag. Not a way. I don't believe it. They're crazy if they do that, and they're stupid. I hope they do. I really hope they let Jalen Johnson because the Raiders need to give him like $20 million or something like that because he deserves it, right? If they want to go that route and pay big money to go get a cornerback, but a guy like Kool-Aid, the guy opposite of him, I can't think of his name. He's pretty damn good too. A guy named Nate Wiggins, I hear about a lot. That's pretty good.
Stevenson. Talking about Tyreek Stevenson in the Bears. No.
I'm talking about Alabama.
Oh, Bama. No. For sure. Yeah.
I don't know his name. I don't know his name, but they got some pretty good corners over there. So Raiders need corners, though, man. If Jalen Johnson gets franchise tag, I might like, hey, what do you want? Like, what do you need for that?
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's tough too because you see Bama, the Saban thing, but then you're like D. Milner. You can always corner is tough because I can always think of a bust. Anytime I think somebody's really good and I watch them, like I remember thinking Christian Fulton was like really good. I don't think he's a bust. He was like second round.
Jeffrey Okudah.
Yeah, and Jeff Okudah's like fine. He's serviceable now with Atlanta, but it's just like it's such a volatile position. It's so scheme dependent, and to me, like I said, I love when I can see a defensive coordinator take a couple cast off corners, a couple of young guys, and make a good secondary out of it. I feel like that's more valuable. And then I go premium defensive line, first round pick on my defensive line, and then I have a good coverage scheme with some athletic kind of cast off guys in the secondary with some young talent. That to me tends to be the new model in the NFL now. So I don't know.
I agree, bro. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We went pretty long today. Got some good interaction here today. you know, the Raiders start losing it. Nobody wants to watch this stuff anymore. I get it, but we were like at one. They want to win streak. We were like at 130.
I'm a sicko. I'm still watching it. I watched Andrew Walter play football. I'll watch Aiden O'Connell play the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys coming and joining us. Like, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Keep keep up with the channel. Like I said, I got JJ McCarthy and Michael Penix and I think Jaden Daniels. I got him in the membership. So you join the membership. I got full breakdowns, full game, every single throw those guys made. I think I got Penix first. I don't know, I forgot what TV playing. And then I got McCarthy versus Ohio State, and then I got Daniels versus Alabama. So check that out. I keep dropping some more quarterbacks, and then get into some other players and stuff, and do a lot of those breakdowns. But check us out, guys. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and we're out of here. Peace.
Pleasure as always, guys. See ya.